So Nick Wright says that Kawhi Leonard is the fourth best player in the NBA. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I want to welcome you guys to the conversation. I'm not even going to waste your time and get into all of the formalities that I normally do with, welcome you guys to the channel. But we got to get into this topic today, y'all. Now, I was recently watching Nick Wright, talking about sports and talking about the matchup between James Harden, the Houston Rockets, and Kawhi Leonard when they went to go play them this week. Now, all of you guys watching this video will know that James Harden actually dropped 47 points in the game, and the Rockets came away in the end, and they ended up winning that game. We all know the outcome of this game, that the Rockets won. And for most people, they'll say that James Harden got the better of Kawhi Leonard that night. Now, the question was, who is the best player in the NBA? That's what they posed to Nick Wright and the panel that he was sitting on the show I think it's called First Things First or whatever it is. And they asked him, and he went into this whole soliloquy of why he believes that James Harden is a better basketball player. But before I go into it, I just want you guys to take a listen to it. So listen to what he said.
Other moment, James Harden's been better. Been considered better, has played better, eye test, stat test. Now, I know we are a prisoner of the moment, and the most recent thing that happens, the most important thing that happened, and last year's postseason, Kawhi Leonard was the best player in the NBA. But over the long-term or short-term, unless we're going tiny-term window, Harden's been the better player, and this year he will prove to be the better player.
So after you guys finish listening to that, you will listen to him and you think, man, this guy is making a great case. Why Kawhi Leonard is not the best player in the NBA. Why, in fact, it's James Harden, or at least James Harden is a better basketball player than him. But he didn't even stop there. He now went on to rank Kawhi Leonard as the fourth best player in the NBA. Now listen to him talking about why he gave Kawhi Leonard, why he thinks Kawhi Leonard is the fourth best player. Listen to this right here.
Kawhi Leonard, by my math, is, as long as Kevin Durant's out, is the fourth best basketball player in the world. There is no shame in that. But there is at no point in Kawhi Leonard's career were people arguing that he was the best player alive until all of a sudden it became, well, clearly he is.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. So that's why I decided today, you know what? I want us to get into this topic, and I'm just going to hit you guys with some facts, first of all, before we get into the whole emotional part of it and give it some context. Let's just talk about the stats right now that James Harden's putting up this season. Currently, as we are speaking, James Harden is averaging 38.2 points a game, 5.5 rebounds a game, and 8.2 assists. You look at these numbers are gaudy. Obviously, I love, watching great offensive basketball players, and I have to tip my hat to say, this guy is putting up a lot of buckets. But let's go a little bit further. Before I tell you that, let me tell you Kawhi Leonard's stats. So for the season, Kawhi Leonard is averaging 26.8 points a game, 8.9 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. Now, his assist numbers went up this year versus last year, but overall, he's becoming a really great all-around player. But let's look at James Harden's stats. So this season, as I said, he's playing 36.5 minutes a game. Kawhi Leonard is playing 32.5, so he's playing 4 more minutes a game, and obviously that has to do with load management, which the Clippers are implementing using for Kawhi Leonard. Now, James Harden is shooting 41% from the field, and he's hitting 88% of his free throws. Now, here's the one thing that we need to take into account that most people will not talk about. Yes, James Harden scores a lot of points. The first reason for that is he is the point guard, and he's the most ball-dominant player on that team. It's not Russell Westbrook, number one. Number two, James Harden attempts 14 three-pointers a game, and he makes 4.5. 14. In comparison, Kawhi Leonard is averaging 5.4 attempts from the three-point line, and he's making 1.6 of them per game. So the big disparity that you're seeing in their scoring is simply because James Harden is taking so many threes. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Kobe in his prime, how many points in a season do you think Kobe Bryant would average if he took 10 three-pointers a game? 10. Or better yet, let's look at Michael Jordan, who for a season, I think it was 1988-89 season, he averaged 37 points a game. How many points do you think Michael Jordan would average in a season if he was taking 10 three-pointers a game? Back then, when MJ was playing, the three-point shot wasn't even as prevalent as it is today. But now you're going to tell me that a player in James Harden in my opinion, he's who has inflated numbers because, yes, he's scoring a lot. But when you're taking 14 3-point shots a game and you're the most ball-dominant player in your team, a lot of players can do, not a lot of players can do that, but a lot of players with that skill set will be able to produce the same results. If Kyrie was doing it, you'll see similar numbers. If Kevin Durant was doing it, you'll see similar numbers. Now, Kawhi Leonard is a completely different player because he operates from the mid-range. But the difference between Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, apart from, the volume of shots that they take, is where Kawhi Leonard is getting his shots. He's getting into the mid-range where most players can't defend. Most basketball players in the NBA are not really good at the mid-range. Secondly, Kawhi Leonard is a two-way player. He's a two-way player. He plays on both sides of the ball. Now, you may say, well, James Harden gave it to him, and he gave him 47 points. We're talking about a game in November that was played on November 14th, I believe it was, in the middle of November. Why would Kawhi Leonard exert all of his energy in trying to guard James Harden in a game played in November when his team is not even back yet and they're still trying to understand and build their team chemistry? Last time I checked, when Kawhi Leonard was playing in the playoffs in games that actually mattered, he went up against the Greek Freak, who is considered by most people to be the best basketball, not most, but some people, to be considered the best basketball player, at least by the estimations of Bleacher Report. Kawhi Leonard gave Giannis Antetokounmpo the business. He played him man-up defense, and he was able to lower the efficiency at the rate at which Giannis was able to score in the playoffs. Last time we saw Kawhi Leonard playing in meaningful games, he took over the playoffs last season, averaging over 30 points, 11 rebounds, I think about 5 or 4 assists per game. Led the entire playoffs in points, rebounds, assists, and I think in steals. That was Kawhi Leonard when he was playing in games that matter. James Harden, on the other hand, they were playing against the Golden State Warriors, who had lost Kevin Durant, and they weren't even able to get that Game 5 win, I believe it is, in Houston, and they ended up losing that series in 6. And this is the guy that you're going to tell me is better than Kawhi Leonard because he's averaging 38 points a game, and he's shooting about, I don't even know how many field goal attempts he takes in a game. He shoots about 25 times a game. Kawhi's only shooting about 21 times a game. So if you look at the numbers, you would think, oh, James Harden is a great player. But as Kenny Smith said, there are 3 types of lies, man. They're lies, they're damn lies, and then there's stats. If you just look at these stats on the face of them, you think that, wow, James Harden is so much better than Kawhi Leonard. But in reality, if you put these stats into context, which most people don't, then you clearly understand that Kawhi Leonard, James Harden is nowhere near on Kawhi Leonard's level. As far as from the offensive side of the ball, he's very good. Can he facilitate an offense? He can, but the only difference with him is that James Harden is so ball dominant. Kawhi Leonard is facilitating the offense. He's a playmaker for that team. That's why he's leading the team in assists. But yet and still, the ball doesn't stagnate with him. He doesn't hold the ball and the ball sticks to him. So the way he affects an offense is completely different. But I think all of this is we're going to put all of this to bed in the playoffs, where Kawhi Leonard, as usual, will show up and James Harden doesn't. So in my opinion, I think it's a joke that Nick Wright would rate Kawhi Leonard the 4th best player in the NBA. I don't know where he gets his things from, but Nick Wright has his own opinion. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think Kawhi Leonard is the 4th best player in the NBA, or do you think that Nick Wright is smoking something? Because I got to know what you guys think about this, because obviously he has the platform. He's able to talk to millions of viewers a day. So he has the ability to sway a lot of opinions because that's the main opinion you're seeing. But for people like me, content creators that love basketball, I have a completely different opinion. So that's what I want to know from you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section below about this. Let me know if you agree with him or you disagree with him. If you do disagree with him, let me know why. And if you agree with him, let me know why in the comment section below. Once again, this is Charles here from DreamersPro. Wish you guys an amazing day. Peace.